that Dhruva was mentioning, U.S. itself, I think, has around 8,000, China has about 8,000 engineers. U.S. and India together have like about, over 15,000 engineers. Right. So the software part is really where I think there's a lot that U.S. and India can do, and that's I'll give you an example, a personal example from this. I think this is something where we can really replicate even the IT and pharma model in defense services. So, and this is also an area where India gets technology, and Indian firms really learn a lot. So, our company C2CI, we provide OSI Maritime software services. What it does is it lowers their costs. It gives us an ability to add to that, NATO infrastructure. And in the process, our engineers, their learning curve has been absolutely phenomenal. Software services is a great area where U.S. and India, I think, can work together. On the military side, too, if you're thinking about on the manufacturing side too, I think there are various areas within manufacturing, composites and so on, smelting, within the defense infrastructure where India is doing a lot of work. Platforms, I think in terms of platforms, India is still getting there, but I think software services, integration, that's really where I would start working right now. But platforms, I think, will still take some time.
Do you want to add anything to that?
Just a couple of things. I mean, I think they're all correct. I think the software component and the value add is going to be higher going forward. But I think people, when you look at the macro picture of U.S.-India defense cooperation, I think people miss the component manufacturing now that's taking place in India, that it's quite significant. And the other thing is what I call MRO possibilities. So for maintenance, repair and overhaul. I always forget the R. But basically, servicing of military equipment. We're now seeing more American vendors looking to service in India for a variety of reasons. It makes sense from a cost perspective. So that's actually the primary reason, not a strategic play, but also the location, right? So it's cheaper sometimes for say U.S. or allied forces that are in the Indo-Pacific to go to India rather than fly it back to the U.S. So I think these are some areas where we're going to see the defense relationship move in some more interesting ways.
I'll just add
one more thing I failed to mention on the semiconductor side. There was a recent agreement between General Atomics and a company called Third Eye Technologies in India. And what's interesting about it is it's a deal to manufacture military-grade chips for the U.S. military. So, I mean, just to combine sort of the defense line that we were talking about and the semiconductors line, we're moving to some really interesting and exciting areas that were just unthinkable even 10 years ago.
I'll just add to Dhruv.
Before you do, we're going to take a couple questions in our last few minutes. If you have a question, go to one of those microphones, if they're up there, and we'll have time for a couple of short questions. That should be questions, not statements. Please.
No, I was just adding to Dhruva's point that there is a lot of components going out of India, and many people will be surprised right now. India's largest defense export is actually to the United States. All of these are small components, COTS, and supply chain parts.
Any questions from the audience? If not, as the moderator, of course, have a default question. There's one right here. You can stand, speak clearly. I'll repeat your question for everyone who can't hear, because it will be a short, focused question. I know.
Yes, I can promise you that. Given that India has always been, in terms of the value chain, at the lower end, because we've heard again about the cost being low and the volumes being there, the question is there a roadmap between the United States and India to take in particularly the very strategic fields of AI and quantum and others, where the cutting edge is there with the United States, but India is way behind. But in terms of the intelligence, where does the roadmap take? Does it go to some level of parity in terms of value add, or does India always remain as a sort of complementary low-end partner?
So there's a question about the roadmap in advanced technologies for sort of the comparative contribution of the United States and India if there's to be actual partnership.
There isn't a single roadmap, and I'll tell you why. It's because the U.S. and India don't have a single technology strategy. forget about the other country. That's not how the U.S. or India functions. I think what we've seen add value to under the public infrastructure, India is very key.
And I
fake images by requiring online.
If you would please join me in thanking our my terrific panelists here.
This afternoon, President Trump is expected to sign legislation intended to combat so-called revenge porn and deepfake images by requiring online platforms to remove such images within 48 hours if the person depicted did not consent. It also penalizes those directly responsible for publishing the images. First Lady Melania Trump has been a proponent of the legislation, and we expect her to be on hand for this bill signing. While we wait for it to start, we'll show you a portion of today's Washington Journal program.
About the former president's health diagnosis. This was the statement from his personal office in its entirety. Last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increased urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9 with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the statement said, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. That was the statement yesterday afternoon, that diagnosis coming on Friday. And the Washington Post today with some more information about prostate cancer and the incidence of prostate cancer around the world. In 2020, prostate cancer was the second most commonly diagnosed cancer and the fifth leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. That's according to the National Cancer Institute. According to 2020 data published in the Journal of Frontiers in Public Health, there were approximately 1,414,000 new cases globally, with 375,000 deaths. It is the most frequent diagnosis cancer in 112 countries and the leading cause of cancer death in 48 of those countries. The Washington Post today with a wrap-up. Plenty of statements coming and sympathies being sent to the former president, including by the current president. This was Donald Trump on his Truth Social page. Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery. Also, statements from the previous Democratic presidents, including Barack Obama. The former president saying, Michelle and I are thinking of the entire Biden family. Nobody has done more to find breakthrough treatments for cancer in all its forms than Joe, and I am certain that he will fight this challenge with his trademark resolve and grace. We pray for a fast and full recovery. And statements from members of Congress as well, and we will get to those throughout this first segment of the Washington Journal, but we want to hear from you, your reaction to that news coming yesterday. We'll start in California. This is Annie. Annie, good morning.
Good morning, John. My favorite, one of them, Greta, and such like that. Well, I just want to say that I think Joe Biden did one very courageous several, and one that I'm going to just point to is he appointed a Native American to be the Secretary of Interior. And I just applaud that. I feel like, the wounds of this country, and I've said it before, but anyway, it just sounds, I feel like we're not going to move forward in any way if we don't look at what we've done. And I know it's not the current people maybe who did it, but I just feel like that's so important, and I just applaud Joe Biden for doing that. And I'm very sorry to hear that he's going through it sounds like a painful, very painful time, and I hope people honor him for the things that he's done that are good like that. Thank you.
That's Annie in California. Harold is in Tennessee. Good morning. You are next.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. We just want to send President Biden our blessings and hope that he has a speedy recovery. And here I just noticed over on CNN they're talking about that book about his mind. But
Welcome to the White House. It's an honor to join you here today for the signing of the Take It Down Act, a national victory that will help parents and families protect children from online exploitation. This legislation is a powerful step forward in our efforts to ensure that every American, especially young people, can feel better protected from their image or identity being abused through non-consensual or intimate imagery of I and CII. Artificial intelligence and social media are the digital candy for the next generation. Sweet, addictive, and engineered to have an impact on the cognitive development of our children. But unlike sugar, these new technologies can be weaponized, shape beliefs, and sadly affect emotions and even be deadly. Over the past few months, I have met with brave survivors, deeply loving families, and caring advocates who know firsthand the emotional and psychological toll of NCII and deepfake abuse. Alliston Berry stood boldly for change, despite the risk posed to her and her family by speaking out and making her voice heard. Alliston, your voice and the voices of so many like you made this bill a national priority. Many thanks to members of Congress, both parties, for passing this legislation, including Speaker Johnson, Senator Cruz, Senator Klobuchar, Congresswoman Salazar, Congresswoman Dean, and Congressman Guthrie, and so many more. Thank you all for coming together to prioritize people over politics. As First Lady, my Be Best initiative is focused on improving children's well-being, encouraging kindness, and creating a safer online environment for our youth. Today, I'm proud to say that the values of Be Best will be reflected in the law of the land. I want to thank my husband, President Trump, for standing with us on this effort. His signature on this new law is not where our work ends on this issue. Now we look to the Federal Trade Commission and the private sector to do their part. Today, through the Take It Down Act, we affirm that the well-being of our children is central to our future of our families and America. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the President. Thank you.
gentlemen. Nobody knew that. Great job. That was a great job. Well, I want to thank everybody. We just spent 2.5 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and I think some progress has been made. It's a terrible situation going on over there. 5,000 young people every single week are being killed. So hopefully we did something. We also spoke to the heads of most of the European nations, and we're trying to get that whole thing wrapped up. What a shame that it ever started in the first place. But I want to thank Melania for your leadership in this very important issue. It's an amazing issue. America is blessed to have such a dedicated and compassionate First Lady. I would tell you she is very dedicated. In fact, if you look at just what I heard, Putin just said they respect your wife a lot. I said, what about me? No, they like Melania better. That wasn't good. I don't know if that was good. I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I also want to congratulate the First Lady in securing $25 million in the first fiscal year, 2026, budget to provide housing and support for youth transitioning out of the foster care. And I can say that she loves children, and you really worked very hard on this, and you had a lot of help from some friends of mine right here, and a lot of the senators are here and congressmen, and I appreciate you all being here. We're also grateful to be joined by people that are just in love with what we're doing. It's such an important situation, and commissioners of the Federal Trade Commission and the CEO of X, Linda Yaccarino. Where are you, Linda? Where are you, Linda? Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Stand up. Thank you, Linda. Great job. You're doing a great job. It's a big deal, right? That's great. Today, it's my honor to officially sign the Take It Down Act into law. It's a big thing, very important, so horrible what takes place. This will be the first ever federal law to combat the distribution of explicit, imaginary, posted without subjects' consent. They take horrible pictures, and I guess sometimes even make up the pictures, and they post it without consent or anything else. And very importantly, this includes for forgeries generated by artificial intelligence known as deepfakes. We've all heard about deepfakes. I have them all the time, but nobody does anything. I asked Pam, can you help me, Pam? She says, no, I'm too busy doing other things. Don't worry, you'll survive. But a lot of people don't survive. That's true, and so horrible. With the rise of AI image generation, countless women have been harassed with deepfakes and other explicit images distributed against their will. This is the wrong, and it's just so horribly wrong. And it's a very abusive situation, like in some cases people have never seen before. And today we're making it totally illegal. Thank you. Upon hearing the stories of so many women affected, our First Lady made stopping these abuses a top priority, and she was given tremendous support because she'd go up to people and talk about it. They say, yeah, we know about it. We have the problem. Can we do something? And she did something about it with the help of a lot of the people, especially the political people sitting here today. Among Melania's guests in the gallery during my address to the joint session of Congress was a 15-year-old young person, Elliston Berry, whose image was turned into an illicit deepfake by a peer. Elliston, where are you? Are you around? Stand up, darling. That's fine. Beautiful. Great. Thank you. It's fantastic. Elliston quickly became a powerful advocate committed to preventing other girls from suffering the same abuse. Elliston, we salute you and we thank you very much, and it's an honor to have you with us today. Great job you've done. Also with us are several other brave Americans whose lives were rocked by online harassment, including Francesca Manny, as well as a South Carolina State Representative, Brandon Guffey, and his family, who have lost their son to suicide after he was targeted in an internet extortion scam, of which you have a lot of them. A lot. I want to thank you both for your incredible work and to reach this important day. Could you stand up, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. I've read about it. Thank you very much. It's a real honor to have you here. because there's no place like the White House, I found out. You know, you have a lot of places, and I just left some of the richest places, and we loved them, and they gave us a nice contribution of about $5 trillion, but this is a special place. Even they talk about it, so it's great to have everybody here. Under the law, I will sign in just a moment. Anyone who intentionally distributes explicit images without the subject's consent will face up to 3 years in prison. In addition, this law establishes new civil liabilities for online platforms that refuse to take these images down promptly upon request. We will not tolerate online sexual exploitation, and especially it's gone on at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's getting worse and worse, and I think this is going to hopefully stop it. And not easy to do. People talked about all sorts of First Amendment, Second Amendment. They talked about any amendment they could make up. And we got it through because of some very brave people, including some very brave politicians in the audience. I want to thank the bill sponsors, Senator Ted Cruz. Ted, stand up, please. Great. Great. Thank you, Ted. It's great. Very effective person. And Congresswoman Maria Salazar, friend of mine. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much for their amazing work, and thanks also to the 99 senators and 408 members of Congress who voted in favor of the bill. Wow, I wish we could get that vote. Some other things. We have another bill coming up. Do you think we'll get that vote? Maybe not. We should, but we probably won't. But working with our First Lady, we've shown that bipartisanship is still possible. That's true. With 99 senators, that's incredible. Senators, stand up. Look at that. John, you're here. Look at all of the senators. This is big stuff. I'm in trouble because I don't have your names. They didn't give me these names. We have so many. We have half of the Senate here. Now they're all going to hate me because I can't introduce you. We don't have the time for that. I have to get back to Putin and people. But thank you very much for being here, all of you, and congressmen, a lot of them, and women. Working with our First Lady, though, we've shown that bipartisanship is possible. I mean, it's the first time I've seen such a level of bipartisanship, and it's a beautiful thing to do. I'm not even sure you realize, honey, you know, a lot of the Democrats and Republicans don't get along so well. You've made them get along, and she didn't even know about that. She didn't know we had a problem. She didn't know we had a problem. But I want to thank you, honey. You've done amazing that this was done when you started, and I said, I don't know, it sounds like a tough one, and yet a very important one, and you got it done. So I congratulate you, and I congratulate Ted, Maria, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we'll sign the bill. Thank you. You're going to sign it too? No, I'm not. No. I see your name, Chuck Wesley. It's been around a long time, huh? Come on around. That's beautiful. Come on around. Hey, look at that. Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
I thought you were getting the bill. Thank you. You did it. Put it out of our gut. Thank you.
Thanks for your leadership made this happen. So thank you.
Mr. President.
I know. Thanks, Maria.
Of course, my pleasure.
That's fantastic. Okay, you ready? Okay, honey, are you signing something? You want to sign it anyway? Come on, sign it anyway. What? She deserves to sign it. Okay, there we have it.
There we are.
That's a big one. Thank you very much, everyone. And you have some pens here. You most importantly, right?
Oh my gosh, you're
Oh, look at these white pens. I've never seen that before. I want one of them. I've never seen them. Dear Pamela, take that. Take that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much for signing it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Yes,
everybody.
thank you.
You go ahead.
Appreciate it.
Mr. President, let me introduce you to Brandon, who lost his son, Gavin.
Let me get up.
He's a state legislator in South Carolina. He's been incredibly brave, and his whole family. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
First Lady has departed the Rose Garden. Thank you.